podcast where we're doing spa sessions. So today we're kind of talking about the spell of money. So we did a video, we were just doing a lot of research around how money impacts on people, the collective, but also individually, the subconscious, and how it is basically like a written program that we all adhere to. So spells in the terminology of what they mean from an occult perspective are more to do with what we call into being, or what we create, or what we ask for, or what we subconsciously make happen.
Like a ritual.
Like a ritual, yeah. So
repetitive rituals.
Repetitive ritual is a spell or a cast.
Yeah.
So it sounds very witchy-woo when we say spell, but it is actually something that humans do as part of our whole existence, really, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So one of the things that really interests us around the concept of money is that we've kind of started breaking our ties from money a long time ago. And when I say that, I don't mean that we don't have money. Money is something that you need to survive in society, but it's not something that, I guess, motivates or dictates anything that we do. And we have 4 children, so obviously there's practicalities that come up with money that are unfortunate that you need to have. But it and of itself is not something that we as individuals and as a couple necessarily strive for.
No, I don't think you can have it all. You can't have money, and you can't have fulfillment, and you can't have it all. So
I think
you got to you can try. But it usually corrupts. There's a point where,
when you say not money, you mean not like ridiculous amounts of money. Yeah.
Well, not like the way people carry on about money. To me, it is hoarding. Yeah. And if you hoard newspapers, you're a crazy person.
Yeah.
Or cats or whatever. But if you hoard money, you're respected, which is kind of weird. Like I don't even think that it should be legal to have billionaires.
No.
Like that's ridiculous. How can they have so much when there's so little left? And especially nowadays, like I actually was watching a video this morning, and there was a guy just going through clips of TikTok or whatever, just showing at the moment, I think they were mainly millennials on the videos, all talking about money and how they don't have any.
Yeah.
And some of these people are working like 3 jobs, and between a couple, they're working 5 jobs. They've given up the idea of children. They just can't. They know they can't afford it. They can't get a house.
But doesn't that become a slave system?
Absolutely. This is the trick.
Yeah, you're beholden to money and the concept of creating a dream. And so I guess what it really meant to me was that the psyche or the subconscious is very much about the programming side of money too, and what it all starts from when we're children. But it's very collective as well. So the whole notion of growing up, we grew up in Australia, obviously. And for us, Australia was all about the great Australian dream. That was
the lucky country.
Wasn't it? The lucky country. And it was drummed into us from a young age about the great Australian dream, and that we're in the lucky country and that we have abundance all around us. But on the other side of the coin, I remember this, and I don't know if you remember this, but the Aussie battler was the opposite of that. Do you remember that? Aussie battler, but the Aussie battler always came through, owned their own house, had their own garden.
They were still doing very well. They
had their own car.
10% of the people in the world,
but
and that's the battler.
There was still this perception of battler.
And now the battlers are all multimillionaires. Work that out. And they got millions in super and holiday every 10 minutes.
Do you ever be confused about that? I do. Yeah, I remember being confused. Like,
I think it was a myth myself. It was to make them feel like they were like
hardworking.
Yeah, hardworking when they weren't. They were
hardworking.
Most of their money was made from the government, because it was
back
in the days in the 70s.
Yeah, a lot of people worked for
78% of people work for our government. We were like pretty much
our families.
Socialists.
We had family members work for the government.
My parents were working for the government. That was normal. And you didn't have to do much work because the government's incompetent fuckwits. So, they pretty much just turned up and got paid. And on one wage, that was enough to support a family of 3.
In Sydney.
Live in Sydney.
Buy houses.
Own cars and houses and holiday all the time and whatever.
But that's another
A little bit different to now. Very different.
The pyramid scheme's falling down.
Yeah, the pyramid's over. And the point of money is that it's a system of trust.
Yeah.
And faith. And, and you have to collectively all agree to worry about money for it to even matter. And at the moment, I'm actually surprised that money exists as it still does.
Oh, it's changing.
With the lack of faith in this system,
like
you're supposed to have faith in currency and government and fellow human beings. And as soon as you don't, the money disappears. Like it's crap.
But
collapses.
I think that's an old, like say talking about financial markets, for example. I feel that's an old way of being because now the powers that be, I think, just do what they want anyway.
Absolutely, they just want themselves checks and like even today, the Australian government said Australians, even though there was a slight rate decrease for housing.
Oh yes, the cost of living is going to stay.
But they said the cost of living is going to keep going up. So that makes no bloody sense.
The prices are not going to fall, was what I read today.
So they're locking it in, and when they say that, they cast a spell to make more people poor and desperate. So normally when this kind of thing happens, when they tighten up money like this, there's a war coming.
It means something.
They're basically getting you used to shit conditions.
Normally when inflation starts to fall, so do prices generally.
Yes, but now they're locking in that they're not going to. So they're going against all the rhetoric that used to exist. The rules of the finance. So by doing that, it will make people lose faith. And if we lose faith in money, the money depreciates in value. Like the US dollar's losing massive amounts. They got inflation and the dollar's down like 10% in a year. Our dollar's dog shit. The Australian dollar, I think, I don't know what it is now. 2 sticks is $1. I don't even know anymore. It's ridiculous. Like if we buy something online, say, dare it be in America or something.
Oh gosh.
I'm not talking about their stupid tariffs and all the idiot stuff.
No, just anything in your state.
Anything that we buy online, we pay double. Well, close to double.
Yeah,
it's like
it is, isn't it?
45% higher than most people. When me and Mindy were running our own businesses
2009.
A while ago now, the Australian dollar was over $1 US. So
we were above parity there for a while. That was in the GFC, and we were one of the countries that, through policy and through probably some deliberate actions, we were the ones that weathered the storm. But that Prime Minister at the time got ousted and usurped by a whole lot of crap. But it was very interesting, wasn't it?
Well, he actually got ousted as our Prime Minister by talking about the faithless men. So he admitted that our government is not run by politicians or the people we see on TV. And it's actually run by people we'll never meet or even know their names.
And he got
ousted not your Murdochs even, not your big wigs that you think are rich. Not even them. There's another echelon behind them, which are pulling the strings and controlling the money.
So the money thing, Matt. Matt is obviously very good at finance compared to me. Well,
no, I'm not. I'm really good at blowing money. I
know that. I don't care about that. I mean, in terms of understanding,
roughly
how the markets work, right? See, whereas I can't. One thing I need to ask you, being a podcast, is what I can't get my head around is the world is in debt. Every country that we know of is in debt,
like $40 trillion
by severe
or
amounts
something ridiculous.
Of money. So how do the markets keep going up when we have no confidence and we have debt? I know debt can be something that makes more money, but who do we owe the money to? And how do they pay it all back? Do you know anything about that?
No, but basically...
That confuses me.
They're doing tricks all the time. Like even this week, the US kind of changed financial regulations where they're able to use debt again that's already debt on top of debt and make more money out of that debt. So it's really weird. So they just changed the rules. They're just kicking the can down the road.
Who do they owe debt to? And then the other person they're paying
everyone knows IOUs to each other.
Debt to them, and then they owe debt to the other person.
At the end of the day, it must be some aliens on Mars that we owe $48 trillion to or something.
But when's it ever going to get paid back? Is it going to get paid back?
It's not financially
because to GDP it doesn't work, does it?
You can't pay the debt back. The debt's gone. Like they've got to do a reset, and that's always a bit of a concern. And again, talking about money, it's like it is just zeros and ones these days and bits of paper. And I think the real thing people should be worried about is whether they have any skills that are worthy. Yeah. Because, like, we did a video today. Mindy knocked out a video today on this topic. So you should go and watch that. It's about 20-minute long form. And in our podcast, we just rave and, banter on.
This is us behind the scenes,
right? This is not a scripted thing at all. This is not anything. We just talk and shit about the day's events. And today the video was made about that, which isn't quite out yet, but it will be shortly once it's edited down or whatever. And that's why we're talking about money. Generally, we wouldn't talk about money. It's not really that big of interest.
But we find it interesting watching other people. That's why we're talking about it.
Totally.
Because it dictates a lot of our relationships.
Absolutely. Well, even our background, we have no superannuation. So Americans, that's your 401k. We have none. During COVID, they let us get the trickle that was there, and me and Mindy both worked for ourselves forever. So
a little bit of
we only had a little bit of super anyway, like 20, 30 grand or something. So we just pulled it in COVID because the government let us for 5 minutes, and then they shut that down because everyone started pulling their super.
As soon as he said it, I was like, let's take it.
Yeah, and if we tell someone that, they shudder. They stress out for us, like as though we're living in a tent under a bridge when we're fine. Like superannuation to me is a massive risk. I don't play cards. I don't play card machines. I don't really like gambling. And for that reason, why would I put my money in with these rich people in a share market, which is just a pyramid scheme, and it's gambling, and it's always last in lose.
And
why would you come in last and feed the top guys all this money? And I can guarantee you, if you looked at the IOUs on your superannuation, it doesn't exist already. No. They've spent it all.
To zeros.
They got to pay off the 40 fucking billion trillion that we owe someone.
But my understanding of it was that, and correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, because you know more about this than me.
She'll be wrong.
But in the 90s, we had a Prime Minister, Paul Keating, who basically brought in the idea of globalization and compulsory super.
Yeah.
And so he did those two big things.
Yeah.
A compulsory superannuation meant that employers had to pay a certain percentage compulsorily into your super fund, which again is another, like power companies, it's another way that people can make more money by holding onto your funds.
Yeah, middlemen taking all the money.
Middlemen that invest. So these are some of the biggest, richest companies now are investors, right?
Yeah.
So the biggest billionaires in the world are now investors.
Yep.
So they're investing your forced superannuation that you're legally having to do if you have a job. So how is that allowed when the share market was not connected to politics? It was meant to be separate.
No one cares. As long as Wall Street's got money to gamble, everyone's happy. As long as you can afford nuclear weapons to blow up your neighbours.
The idea was that you had self-funded retirement, but my idea is that if the share market's volatile, you don't.
No.
So it's risky. So how is it going to guarantee you have a retirement?
If you look at history, 1929, when that went down, it happened very quickly.
And that was no full super back then.
No, but the stock market still existed, and it went through the roof.
Yes, it did in the 20s.
Yes.
We're in the 20s again.
We're in the late 20s. We're like 1928, where we're heading for where people are going to dump it out of windows. And again, over bits of IOUs that are zeros and ones. It's not even real.
But now super's tied to it, and it's a lot more to risk, I think. And people don't realize that they think it's all safe because everyone's got this super keeps going into it. But if that confidence falls, which I think it is rapidly anyway, that's all going to drop down. But also because this is one of my crazy beliefs, but that's all right, I'll share it, is that they want to collapse this system to bring in a new system.
And it clears the debt. It's the only way to clear the debt. There's no method to clear debt apart from resetting, which is normally a world war. It is. That's
a world war or a full financial collapse or whatever it might be.
Which will cause a world war because then resources get scarcer and the superpowers that be will come after.
Well, my tarot cards showed 7 minutes today. I was like, oh, it's really close.
Yeah, and I'm not dooming a war. I don't want a war.
No.
I don't want my children going to war. Well, they're not
going to.
They're not anymore.
No.
I'm not fighting bankers' wars because every fucking war is for the bankers.
Yeah, and this is what we're just talking about.
They slaughter you all and make money by dropping bombs and stuff. It's yet we do have families with military backgrounds around and all that kind of stuff, and it's quite difficult to explain to people who, I don't know, love war, that it's the dumbest shit you could do. And I'm never sending my children to it. I had my mother marry this fuckwit, and he's went to Vietnam, reckons he's a war hero, did nothing. Probably just, sucked guys off in the fucking toilets.
Okay, that's going to be edited out. Start again.
Anyway, and this fool, first time meeting him, he's harassing us that we should send our kids to war.
He was talking about
should sign up, and he said conscription was good. Who are these fools? But they're the greedy ones who love all the money too. He literally married my mother for money. So that's the kind of people you get around money. And growing up in a place that had a lot of money, I really don't trust them. Most people I knew who were uber rich were criminals.
Yeah.
They were. And they were blue collar criminals. So and everyone celebrated them. They knew all the politicians, they knew all the people in power, but they were basically career criminals, and everyone looked up to that because they were rich. Well, that's a disease. Like, we should look up to people who are clever, but we don't. We look up to anyone with a lot of money. Musk came out of nowhere. I don't know, just suddenly got $100 billion. What a load of shit. And everyone looks up to this idiot.
But can I just say as well that I think that a lot of this is, like we said before, is programming.
Absolutely.
So the whole programming agenda is to make people believe that this is the most aspirational thing you can do, is to accumulate money.
Yep.
But
have a shit life, but as long as you got lots of money, you'll be right.
The thing is that when you pursue that, I think when you don't focus on it as your main goal, when you have your earnings are from your energy and you're doing that with passion and you're just doing that automatically, the money tends to ebb and flow. It doesn't seem to be like a forced thing.
No.
Like, I don't think that, I'm not going to say we don't struggle. We've had many years where we have struggled because obviously we're trying to build and we're trying to create, we're trying to find our flow in a capitalist world, which is really tricky when you are more spiritual as a person. And
we've had 20 businesses.
Yeah.
We started our first as young people on a credit card.
Yeah, we did.
And we took massive risk. And again, everyone else freaked out. They were so worried for us. The last thing I was worried about was the stupid money on the credit card. We had to get something going real quick.
And we did really well with it.
But we wanted a lifestyle too.
Yeah.
We didn't want to just work 2 jobs like everyone has to do now. And we didn't want to do that just to have a baby.
We didn't want to chuck our son in daycare.
No, we didn't want. We wanted to control everything.
We wanted to raise,
and therefore you got to give up a bit of money. Like, if we both went out and just went to make money, we'd have a lot of money now. But I don't know what that would do for me.
No,
it's so easily wasted too.
Well,
like,
it's just
I'm going to go to America on a holiday, $100,000 later.
Yeah.
Well, that's like a normal person's wage for a year.
But it becomes more grandiose. Like, it becomes more, you need a bigger house and you need a bigger car.
Why?
I don't know.
It's just showing off. I
don't know.
If you need to show off with your Lamborghinis or whatever it is, like, you're just insecure.
Like, we look at it like abundance comes in through the flow of energy. So we spend our energy through things like sharing information, like now, doing things like my client work, doing all of that kind of work gives us, we're expending energy. So the exchange for that is arbitrary money that allows us to buy food, shelter, pay our bills.
But we do a fair bit of bartering when we can.
But we do, and we do have that going on too. Like, we live in a farming area, and that means that clients are happy to pay it forward to me for the service that I give to them through, gifts. So, and that's a very special thing to me, is that I find that more rewarding.
And it's personable. I
find that way more rewarding than just getting a $50 bill.
Totally. Like, we've got an egg shortage at the moment, and we get like maybe 4 cartons, 5 cartons a week.
Yeah, we got 3 last week.
And the point being, and we're not trying to show off or, it's not about this.
No.
This is a conversation that needs to be had by most people. The point being that we have skills and we have negotiated and organised with other people who we don't have to hang around every Sunday at a barbecue or anything.
No,
these people are out of our life.
We exchange skills with.
Yeah, but a skill exchange instead of the paper zeros and ones. Like, zeros and ones are only for people who have no skill. But when you've got skill, like tomorrow, for example, like we're talking, if the share market just dumped shit tonight and that was it, like, we don't care that there's no money in the bank. Well, because it won't matter whether you have money or not.
No.
It's worthless. You'll have a wheelbarrow load for a loaf of bread. So I don't need that stress. And you'd burn it to keep warm. You'd use it for something, but you can't use ours because it's plastic. So it'll just be poisonous to burn. So it's useless shit. But the point being is that we're organised enough already that if shit hit the fan, we're well enough to have food coming in our door, all hand delivered most of the time. And we've got services that they need as well. Health, and so, and we produce as much as we can ourselves, which is very important because it's handcrafted, everything's done, properly, and it's better than anything you'd buy on a shelf out there.
But I'd also say too, the concept of retirement is that Australian and, I don't know, American, UK,
that's weird.
Western culture,
that's a weird
is
concept.
very much about retirement, and I think that's fine if you do a job that you really don't like to get money, but I also think this end point of always trying to get to the next point also worries me, because I'm like, what about now? What about the power of where you are now? And that to me is, why would I want to change that when I'm in my 70s? Why would I want to be you know,
redundant.
Yeah.
You're redundant yourself.
Whereas I feel like I've still got a lot to give no matter what age I am.
Absolutely.
And I want to be able to do my practice as a naturopath and herbalist. And,
look,
you know,
with skill you only get better in time.
Well,
so at 70, you shouldn't be retiring. You should be giving your skills out further because they'll be so tuned in by then that, like, if you do what you love or you have a skill, then there's no stress. Like, no matter what happens tomorrow out there, it's not going to affect us. You have to reorganize a bit, but I'm not. Last thing I'm doing is stressing about it. You just get the job done. You know, do what you got to do, and money's just a medium, and it's an easy medium. Everyone understands it. But at the end of the day, what you're really trading is either your sweat, blood, and tears or your skills. Yeah. And sweat, blood, and tears is like when you hate your job equivalent. Yeah. And skills are something you're passionate about. Yeah. And I think the biggest trick is to sit down and spend 10 minutes.
Find out what they are.
What are your skills? And then put them in a line and then work out, well, what do I actually like doing out of all my skills? And put that in a line and have a look what marries up and go, maybe I should try that. And at least try it as like a side job to start with, or, you know, a bit of a hustle kind of thing, and see how you do it. And the sooner you start anything, the better. Yeah. You know, because money is just not reliable anymore, and people are just too used to it. They're just, you know, and to me, you can't buy respect. No. You can't buy honesty. You can't buy friendship. You can't buy love. So there's so many things it doesn't do that I'm interested in.
No, that's right.
So it's something I really don't over need. And if I focus too much money on worrying about money, then I lose out on all the other things that I actually want to do, because I'm just focused on clicking zeros in the bank account, like putting the, you know, moving the decimal up. So, and the weird thing about, like you was talking about retirement, is what I see with the psyche, because it's like a spell. You will retire at 65. The government will give you some sort of free money, even though you're supposed to be self-funded now. Yeah. But don't worry about that. You can be a multi-millionaire and still get the equivalent of welfare in Australia, which is insane, which is why we're going broke. And why young people can't afford a house and all that kind of shit. It's pretty simple. Like, no one will talk about it, but it's that simple. Yeah. These guys have everything. They got nothing. These guys are holding on to it all and then insulting them for having nothing. That's the system. But the spell of retirement is a really dangerous one, because what I see is they just give up. So they don't retire and go, yay, I'm going to have time for grandkids and family. And that's true. And I'm going to, you know, have everyone around. It's going to be great. And I'm going to do all these fun things. They don't. The people I see retiring, literally cutting roses during the day and acting busy, doing nothing. I don't really know what's going on. But I'm not seeing them out there very much. There are standouts that are out there in the community doing a lot of good. Yes, I'm not blanketing everyone. I'm just saying the people I know of that age that are closest to me aren't doing much. No. And you could see it happen that day. I've retired. That's it. I don't have to do anything. Yeah. And you're like, but it's for you.
What about your identity? And
and that's the problem, because you're so used to going to parties and everyone's like, what do you do? Which is just asking, how much money do you have? Yeah. Oh, I'm a lawyer. Oh, that's great. Let's talk about that for 10 minutes. You know, oh, nice to meet you. See you later. And that's general etiquette. Like, I don't know. It's pretty boring, but that's what people do. And when you retire, it's so weird to hear them, I'm a self-funded retiree. Yeah. What does that mean? What are you doing? They didn't ask you, are you doing nothing and you got loads of money? But they said, you know, what do you do? But I'm a self-funded retiree. That's not answering the question.
I just think
surely you do something still.
I just think it's an objective that has been sold as well, like the programming that we spoke about before.
Absolutely.
That it's retirement is, you know, the end goal. Mm-hmm. But I just then think, why does it have to be pinnacle or a point that you get to? Why can't it be?
It shouldn't be an age. It should be like a personal choice of whatever.
If I want to, I feel like I'm going to step back, or you know. So I do think that there's a lot around the programming and a lot of deliberate mechanisms or spells that go on that are casted across the people that are kind of just automatically adopted.
Absolutely. I see it constantly in the news about money.
Yes.
$750,000. That isn't enough to retire.
Yeah, that kind
I'm like, who are you talking about? Are you talking about a multi-millionaire, or are you talking about kids now 20 with no money at all? A kid with $750,000, if he was clever, which is kind of you can do these days, he'd be a billionaire by the time he's retiring.
But I also think that it's you know, more to do with the fact that most people in the world, if you were to look at it,
don't First world people.
Oh, the whole world.
The whole world.
would not have access to even those concepts, let alone saying you don't have enough if you've got 750,000. Like, what? So what is enough? And that's the next question. What is enough?
Well, there's never enough.
And so there's all these, like, this fear around I won't have enough. And that's probably part of, you know, the example of the couples you said that don't have kids that are working 5 jobs.
Yes, that's crazy.
How much do you actually need? Like, we had children.
Well, they're just trying to get deposits and let the bank get them the house.
We were poor when we had children, and we had no certainty over our financial future.
No, not at all. Not at all.
And we came into our marriage.
Make it work. You just do it.
Both, you know, with nothing. Like, we came equally, didn't we?
We did.
With nothing. And that was important to me as well. I didn't want to have, let me just finish this point. I didn't want to have the dominance of financial dominance of one partner over another, because I think that also is a power play too. You know, so we didn't deliberately choose that, but we were in a position where we had to start from scratch, which I thought was great, because everything we built together is ours.
Yes, totally.
And we try to do it that way. If we can't afford it, we don't buy it.
Totally. That's the thing with money. Don't spend it if you don't have it. You know, it's the biggest thing. Like, simple things, like after seeing videos today, the biggest stress I'm seeing, say, a lot of them are Americans, you know, but it'll be across the board, much like Australia. A lot of them are in severe debt for cars.
Yeah, cars.
And everyone has to have the biggest, newest ute. And these things aren't like 20 grand. These are like expensive machinery. In Australia, I think a Land Cruiser, Toyota Land Cruiser is like 150 starting at. Like that should be the price of a house.
Yeah.
Not a car. And then they put that on loan, so they're going to pay back, what, $280,000 for a car that might last 6 years. Like, that's insanity. So I think some people are just stupid with money, and it makes no sense.
And other people use debt and become billionaires. No, they're all in debt, though.
Look, most billionaires don't actually have a cent to rub together. They don't have a wallet with anything in it. They literally are running around on debt, and they can pile debt from one bank to another.
Yeah.
And then people will be like, oh, so-and-so's bankrupt himself 6 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, so-and-so knew how to scam the system.
Yeah.
So-and-so deliberately bankrupts themselves.
Yeah, so that
because
be
you can get in and get out, and you can write stuff off. And everyone sits around like a judge of, oh, you're an idiot, you bankrupt. It's a scam. Bankruptcy is just a scam. Even in Australia, it's a scam.
Yeah.
You can walk away with a lot of people's shit and not have to pay anyone a cent by bankrupting.
Yeah.
So,
or administration, voluntary administration.
And people would think, oh, you know, wouldn't you feel a bit of shame as a rich person walking around knowing you bankrupted a couple of companies? No, they're proud.
You go back and do another one.
And their accountants are even happier than they are. You can just rort the system, and you know, and they'll give things bad terminology so the norms don't do it.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to bankrupt my business. That's the humility of that. No, you should. If you're in bad debt. And I think we'll probably see a bit of that too, like personal bankruptcy will happen just because of the cars and stuff.
And the debt that people get into, like, it's
massive, it's scary.
Just housing in Australia is insane.
Oh, it is insane.
But also we're just going to see people thinking, like, I know most clients I know all have a car loan.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We have an old car that is reliable, that runs. Matt knows how to fix it.
We never service. Don't have to take it to mechanics.
Yeah, you do it.
We brought it with money we had in the bank. Yeah. And we did, the car before was the same, and the car before that the same. Yeah. The only car we ever got on a loan was actually when we were really young, just together.
Yes,
and
personal loan.
We got a personal loan, which we then, as soon as we were dead broke, probably couldn't have even afforded that really, but
we needed
some money.
Car,
but we needed a car to make money.
I had a job. So.
Totally, you had to travel. So we got a car, probably a little bit more schmick than it needed to be, but it was still good value and whatever, and an old car, and it was the only one that we got a mortgage on, like a loan on, and the day we could pay it back, we just threw all the money at it.
Yeah.
And got rid of that crap.
We started paying it down really fast.
We just paid that thing down as soon as we started making money.
Yeah.
Didn't sit around going, oh, it doesn't matter, it's on a 5 or 10 year loan. Nah, giving them back the money. I don't care if I get a penalty for fast payment. Just get that shit off my shoulders, because I don't know how people live with that weight of debt.
Yeah, they do though.
It's scary. Like, to me, that is probably the worst thing I could do to my psyche. I hate money in that respect.
Yeah, just feeling indebted to it, because it means
owe people.
But it means also that with your own business, so you don't get paid sick leave or anything like that. So
no holidays.
If I took a week off week before last because I needed to reset, and just because I need
time off. Yeah, it's normal.
And so just took a week off. And if I had done that, if we're in debt, that would have really put us in financial stress.
But no one cares because the apparent houses keep going up. So they just slack it on their mortgage. I know so many people who go holiday on their mortgage.
We didn't even go away, but...
No, we didn't.
But if you did...
we got it, but it was still going to be cheap as shit.
Yeah. So one of the interesting things about money and us was that Matt actually created a few altcoins, you know, in terms of...
like Bitcoin. So I made digital currency in 2014, 15.
Yeah, well, 2014 was the first one, and then 2016, 17, wasn't it?
Yeah, we never really did the last one. I had a...
Yeah,
we were building a team up. We were actually going to do it like bigger than Ben-Hur in the end, but it was just too much to organise other people around money. Because basically you can't trust anyone around money.
And people don't have patience with money.
No.
So if there is something that potentially has a future with finance that you have to build, you have to start from the ground up. It's really hard to get people on board who can see the vision and stay with the vision.
Look, the weirdest thing about digital currencies, Bitcoin and all that kind of shit, was the coin I made was rewarding people to give up smoking, basically.
Yeah, that was the original one.
There was like incentives to do that. So I thought it was a good idea. Went into a community of scammers, met a few really nice people who weren't scammers, met a shit ton that were. The whole thing's it's just scammers. And that's why I wouldn't put my money anywhere near any of it. But anyway, within that community, because you are a community, you're building a community or your coin won't work. So I built a community. You're talking to them, you're interacting with them, you're doing stuff. Now, within that community, the weirdest thing to me was I doxed myself, which means I told people who I am. I gave them my ABN, which is the equivalent of like your social security number or whatever.
I mean, they could have found that if they
wanted to. Well, they could have if they wanted to dig. But I went in as my name, my real name.
Yeah.
I went in and told them who I am. And I said, I'm not going to touch anything for a year. Like the funds that I allocated for myself, which is normal in that scene, I'm not touching for a year. And I made all these promises, which was the weirdest thing that I thought the community would love that because of honesty and being... But because there's money involved, they hated that. And they were literally like, you shouldn't have done that. You should have been anonymous. If you were anonymous, this coin would just go mental. So people actually don't want to know where their money's coming from. And they would prefer if you were a crook on the premise you'll probably make them more money.
Yeah.
It was the weirdest thing I've ever encountered. Honesty wasn't the only killer of my coin. We had a Gox, like a big exchange got hacked and all this. And we're talking about when Bitcoin was like $120, $130, like Australian, back in the day. It went up to like $1,200.
But it was
interesting. And we were worth something like at the peak, and it doesn't work like that because if I started selling, which I promised not to anyway, as this hack went on and everything started dying, if we'd sold out at the top, I think it was something like the coin was worth something like 12 million US as a total, which isn't much. It was a small thing, but we could have taken like 3.2 million out of it. And that's in the first like 6 months. But I did promise people and I said, no, I'm not going to do it. And everything was dying because of this hack. And it just...
Yeah, and I think the whole Bitcoin was losing...
Bitcoin lost a heap. It had gone up to like $1,200 and then it dumped to 160 because of the hack.
And so this is back then,
everything just died, and it was literally too much expense to keep shit running.
Yeah, it was.
Like, you're not going to make any money and that kind of thing.
It was just really hard to keep momentum up emotionally.
Totally. It wears you down. Yeah. It's really hard because I went in for the digital currency because, you know, the claim back in the day was it's decentralized, it's the people, it's, you know. So I thought, you know, that sounds really good. And I went in for the concept of how powerful it would be to change people's lives with a digital currency. I didn't go in to make money. Like, if you make money, you get, that's free, good, you know, you got a bonus out of it. But I truly didn't go in just for money. I went in to create something and create a community and try to do something good that I thought was good because I just given up smoking. So I'm like, I feel so much better. Everyone should give up these ciggies. They're bloody bad. So let's do this. And the thing worked, but the weirdest psychologies came out in people. The worst of things came out in people. And I never wanted to have to look over my shoulder for doing anything against community or breaking a promise. And I think most people would just think I'm insane. They're like, you could have taken $3 million, but instead you got nothing. And I'm like...
But you can sleep at night.
Yes. I'm good with that. I don't care. And what would I have done with 3 million? Probably invested in some bullshit coin that made nothing. Or what I would have done was put it in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
You imagine $3 million in Bitcoin when Bitcoin's 130. I'd be a billionaire.
But
I'd be a
the
billionaire.
thing is that
we used to gamble about half a Bitcoin a day back then.
But the thing is Matt, what I was alluding to was the spell and the power of money. Was Matt spent a lot of years dabbling in and out of the altcoin market, really.
Mm-hmm.
And so he did a bit of trading as well.
Yeah.
And what I observed was the emotional effect it had on you, even though you were trying to be.
Oh, it wrecks you.
And he was affected by it. And so I think of traders who do stock market work, and I think, oh my God.
Same shit. Worse, because you're doing other people's money. Oh my God, this was my money.
So riding the highs, Matt was, you can share the stories, but Matt was, quite excitable. Kids, we're going to go to Wind City and
do whatever you want.
Exciting. We're going to go to the arcade. And so it was all exciting, especially with a big win out of seemingly nowhere. And then the next day, it was so volatile, the whole lot.
Yeah, you'd lose half of it again.
So much of it down. He'd always break even and take out what he put in.
Yes, so you get in, make your money, pull out what you put in.
Yeah, so
and then I go for the big one. So if I go into the system, that's all I go for. It's like, you
go hard or go home.
Yeah, totally. I'm not sitting around trying to make little bits for my retirement. I'm like, I'm going
to. You wanted to get your big one, did you?
I got like 9 back that day, pulled my 2 out, go in with 9, turn it to 11 in like an hour.
And I'm like, take it out. And you're like, nah.
And then I found something that could make me like a couple of 100,000. But I knew the chances was like 90% it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
But I went on the 10%, and I'd throw that sort of money down and just go, oh, well. But it was stressful.
Okay, but when you lost that,
horrible.
Let's be real.
Oh, I was pissed.
You were not easy to be around. No offense.
No, I'm not.
For that couple of days, you did come out of it pretty quickly. It wasn't like it got you down in the dumps for a month.
No, but it's annoying.
But during that period, I watched the swing of the stress and not sleeping and getting up to check the markets. And I'm like, oh my God.
You just can't sleep.
And the funny thing with Matt that I will laugh about was he'd say to me, I'm putting this thing as a long term, or I've just put it in. I'm not going to check it. I'm just going to leave it.
Just leave it.
That, I
10 minutes later.
10 minutes later.
Maybe an hour if I was doing well.
And he'd be like itching. You could see it. He's like literally,
It hasn't tripled.
And he goes,
it's been an hour.
I'm like, are you checking that coin? He's like, oh, not really. And I'm like, you are? So, and you'd see like as soon as it starts dropping, oh God, the tenseness. And I'm like, you're not supposed to be checking it. So long-term trade is not for you.
No, it's too boring. If I'd rather have that money and enjoy it.
How many times did you say I'm going to do short trading, long trading though?
Yeah, I know. Every time. I couldn't handle it. It was too much opportunity.
But you literally got these devices at a real time. So it's not like when in the 80s where you have to go into the office
through a broker and all
to check it through or ring the broker doing business hours.
All live.
It was all live.
All there.
So interesting, right?
It is.
But but you learn a lot about yourself and money when you go and play with Bitcoin, I think, because you learn kind of how you roll with it.
Absolutely.
And you were quite good at the day trading, but it just took its toll on you so much.
Mentally, I just find it too draining.
Emotionally, it was a roller coaster.
Oh God.
We all had to go on that roller coaster. The highs were great, but it was like living with a bipolar person.
Yeah, well, that makes you bipolar. It literally does. If you weren't before, it does it to you.
So there is that psychological grip of money, and that one really showcased to me and to you how much it impacts. Because
that was easy money times where you could just make it,
And unfortunately, we didn't.
No. Well, but
we never lost
at the time. Like even of recent, when Bitcoin went down to $4,000. Just a recent.
Oh God, let's not go over that one.
No, but we had money in the bank, and I wanted to use it more on the house.
What did I say to you?
Renos, you wanted me to put it in, but see, the point being is that it could then go to 1, like a K, and then go to 50 cents. Like I'd never thought it might, but I was pretty sure it would go up. But at the same time, I've got to live with myself. With Bitcoin,
I was doing readings. We were trusting the energy. I was like, but
then I'm going to be that person again
for 5 minutes because it was so quick that it went up. It couldn't go much lower at that point.
No, it couldn't. It was obvious. $4,000 was the bottom.
But anyway,
that was the bottom.
Okay. That's okay. It's just money. I'm not.
But that's the point. But then I've got that stress again because I know what I'll do as soon as it triples.
Yeah.
Then I start buying
Take it
into all
out,
the stuff
put it in the
and
house. Yeah.
I just start doing stuff with
But
it.
we get taxed on it too. So we learned
Yes, a lot
we
of
actually did
tax.
make money on altcoins. I tell a lie, we
Yeah.
did.
Well, it paid the deposit for
Paid
our
the
house.
deposit for our house.
Yeah.
So Matt actually peaked then, and that was, back in late 2017. So Bitcoin started to become mainstream.
It was still
then.
cheap, 20 grand or 10 grand.
30 grand it went to.
30 was it?
So it went to mainstream. I think it hit 35,000 or something. And
Yeah.
we were in earlier. So Matt had coins that he actually held on to because you were too busy with your day job to actually look at it. So
Yeah, I was working
the time
7
when
days
he
a week,
could hold
so
on.
I didn't really have time.
And so he just had these coins sitting there.
And they were like dust.
Yeah.
Like,
from
these
your
coins,
miners. You had ASIC miners.
So I had mining and all sorts of
You
shit
did
going
have
on.
ASIC miners.
And
I'm like, how many miners did we have?
Oh God, 10. And
Was it 10?
And that was only when they just came
Did
out.
we have 10 ASIC
Yeah,
miners?
yeah,
God,
yeah,
no
yeah.
wonder they were heavy on power.
Oh yeah, they were heavy on power.
Think of it now.
But then we got
cost an hour.
$400 in the first 5 minutes of turning them on. It was
I think we got a whole Litecoin or something.
Yeah, we did in no time. No, it was like 40 of them. Back then they were cheap as shit. They were
Oh,
cheap. They were
really?
like
God.
$10 or something. Less.
Right, okay, sorry.
Yeah. No, we
One
got a
coin
pile
now
of
is
them.
precious, yeah.
No, we got a pile of them. And I've been hacked. Like I've had wallets that had Bitcoin in them that were mining.
Yeah.
So I had computers that were just mining it when it was cheap. And then that pool got hacked. Whether you can't prove that they did or didn't, they probably just took all my money. I don't know.
I remember we were sitting, it was like 2009, I think 2010 maybe. But we were at the place that we lived in Melbourne. And we were sitting there, and I remember Matt talking about this weird digital currency thing on Silk Road.
And it was $20.
And you weren't on Silk Road, so disclaimer. But he was reading about this, how they were using this currency for exchange for, illegal goods and all of this kind of stuff. And just interesting reading about it in conspiracy circles and things. And they were saying...
And now it's mainstream.
They were saying it was going to be mainstream. So this will be the next big thing.
It's for laundering money. That's all it was made for.
No, it wasn't. It was made for the digital currency and the one more government.
And trust it. And that's why Bitcoin's allowed to travel.
That's in the mainstream.
Everyone now associates any digital currency with something that you could, if you get in early, you're going to be a billionaire.
Yes.
But it's not that. The next one that they give everyone is a control.
And the founder was like not even a real thing, right?
The founder's never been any.
So we're digressing, but I would say, just closing with the money talk, that it's interesting how we've discovered about ourselves that money is something that, yes, we need, and we're not saying we don't want to have abundance. I like my lifestyle. I don't want to change that.
Mindy's very bougie.
I'm very bougie, and I don't pretend I'm not. Like, I really like to eat really, really good quality food. I won't, I'm not going to scrimp on my grocery bill. And that's because, not because I'm being an asshole, but because literally the quality is what I'm ingesting into my body. So I take that very seriously for my family as well. So I like to cook and make sure my family's nourished. So that means making choices that unfortunately are more expensive a lot of the time.
Oh, I wouldn't even want to know what our shopping bill is.
But maybe one day we'll share that, because it's an investment in our health.
Fall over.
But it's not to be a pompous git. It's because we don't really have it. But it's the investment in our health. Like, and the numbers speak for themselves. When you do your blood tests and markers and things, they do speak for themselves. But it's also that if you're eating rubbish food, you're lacking. Like, you're in that lack sense mindful.
Oh, look, I buy this $4 pizza, and then I can put $2 in Bitcoin.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Or I can put it for my car loan. Or,
whatever.
Whereas we drive like a really old car that's purposeful.
It's a good car.
But it's a really good, solid car. Touch wood. Don't ever say that.
Touch wood.
And so we've got everything we need, but it might not be the latest, greatest, but it still does what it does. Our house is a very small, older 3-bedroom house, but it's right in town, and it runs our business, and we're all comfortable here, and we've got everything we need.
Yeah.
It's not the most aesthetic looking place.
We could have got someone double the work of people pushing us to do it.
And we could have also got house and land for a similar price.
Totally. We could have got something new.
But McMansions are not for us.
No, they're not.
No.
And I only say McMansions are not for me because I was in the building industry for a while.
You know how they're built.
And I know how they're built, and it's not good. It's not how we were building things.
And we also don't want anything clinical and homogenized. We want a character, and we wanted a home, a cozy home, and our kids will love it.
Our kids wreck everything.
But they love our home. Like, they're comfortable still. We've got adults still living with us that are comfortable in our humble little home. So, there's nothing.
They won't leave. because they like it. So it's annoying.
But
if we've moved to a McMansion, they'll all piss off.
Well, maybe, but I look at it like we get the tiniest kitchen and a little lounge room, but it's also cheaper to heat and to cool.
Yes,
and
it is.
Yes, lots of advantages, but also that we're right in town. So for our kids now at teenage, young adult age, it's been really good coming here when they were coming of age. So they were around that age where they're about to go into teenage years, pre-teens, the oldest. And then we had the younger ones. And so for them being here meant that location was everything. So it didn't matter that our house was run down and older and we could afford it. Like our mortgage payments are affordable.
All right, wrap it up.
All right. So that was a call to action from my husband. Very, very sweet.
It's all over. So
asking me to
next time.
For a minute.
Subscribe and whatever you got to do.
No. So he's getting burnt out, but I'll just say that it was really good to chat about money because I think that it's a concept that so many people are attached to emotionally.
Oh, God.
And it really drives so many things. So break the attachment, guys. Like, let go of what's not serving you and really focus on what brings you joy. Totally. I'll close out with that one. And watch the video. It'll be in the link in the description.
Yeah,
I'll put it in the link. Yeah, but we'll pop a link into the other video.
Anyway.
Thanks for watching. See ya.